Well, the week is coming to a close, and it has been an absolutely banging week for the crypto market, with many altcoins up anywhere from 20 to 40%. I mean, we got XLM up 47% this week. We got HBAR up 32% this week. XRP up this beautiful 31%. We got things like ETH up 21%. Ethereum Classic up 33%. I mean, it has been an absolutely smashing week. And so today, what I wanted to do is just end the week off with a pretty broad update on some of our favorite cryptos here on the channel. So today, we're going to be going over Solana, we're going to go over SWI, we're going to go over XLM, we're going to go over HBAR. These are some of the cryptos that have made us the most gains here on the channel, and since I am heading out of town for the next 2 days, I figured why not leave you with a pretty big update. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. And guys, don't forget that if you want to start trading XLM, Solana, XRP, and many more on up to 500x leverage, you can check out the link to BTCC down below. Guys, if you sign up specifically with my link, you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses each and up to 40% lower trading fees. This is one of the best deals for exchanges on YouTube. So if you're trading a ton of volume, check that out, because just these savings on fees could save you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So check that out down below. I do have a full video on the exchange down here and in a video explaining all of your perks right here. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But overall, let's kind of go over these cryptos. Okay, so again, we're going to be going over Solana, we're going to go over SWI, we're going to go over XLM, we're going to go over HBAR. Now, before I get into them, I want to just explain to you what's happening, because what we're seeing is the same exact setup spread across all four of them. They're just all in different stages of this setup. Now, what the setup looks like, okay, is some sort of descending structure. So let's say that these cryptos created some sort of descending structure that looked like that, and we obviously knew, like, okay, well, we obviously have this descending structure, so we need a breakout. And then what happens is in the next step in the structure, in the setup, is that, of course, the crypto will break out from this descending structure. It'll start trying to work its way up. Now, of course, as its price starts to go up, you and I both know what I'm going to say. We're looking for a certain thing to happen. The certain thing that needs to happen is breaking the golden zone. The golden zone is the golden Fibonacci zone, ranges between the 786 and the 618 fib level in the world of crypto. And this is, of course, the decision maker. If this crypto can break through this golden zone after breaking out of this descending structure, it opens up a door for a massive move that oftentimes not only can bring it back to the previous high and sometimes the all-time high, but usually higher, right? In the instance in which you do break through this golden zone, not only are you going to go up, you're going to go higher than that previous high to what are called Fibonacci extension levels, which are the blue line and the green line. So in simple terms, when you break out of this descending structure, you want to break the gold zone. If you can break the gold zone, you're typically going to try to get a push up towards the blue zone and the green zone, which does lead to some fantastic gains. So with that in mind, let me start applying this to a few of our favorite cryptos so you can see what it looks like in real time. So the first one we're going to go over is Solana. Okay, and I'm just going to get rid of everything for now, and I'm just going to show you exactly what Solana is doing. So as Solana's price has been trading throughout the year, it's honestly not been doing that great. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a pretty crappy year for Solana. It's been just a rough time. It's just not performing well. And I think the reason is because it was the first mover in the bull market, right? Solana's the altcoin that really kicked the bull market off in 2023 and 2024, giving us all these juicy gains, making way for the rest of the altcoin market to start pumping. So it is no surprise to see it kind of slow down since then, because people are going to find their interest in other places. So this is normal. And yeah, it's just been a pretty rough year for Solana. But what we can see is that things are happening and setups are happening that could lead Solana to the upside. For example, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to identify the downtrend, because the downtrend is there. Now, there's a couple ways that you can look at this, okay? The first way you can look at it is if Solana had the downtrend here. And then what its price did was it broke through this downtrend, and then it used the downtrend to go to where? Of course, the golden zone. Well, what happened? Solana's price got all the way up towards the golden zone right here. It got rejected and fell all the way back down. That's the first way you can look at it. I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at it that way. It's probably one of the best ways to look at it. Another way that you can look at it, though, is by looking at it more from this perspective. So what you can say is, okay, well, since Solana's price got so heavily rejected and it continued to set the macro higher low, that does then continue this big pattern here, right? Like if I was to pull this as a parallel channel, watch this. If I was to pull this as a parallel channel, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So do you see how the structure makes sense? You see how we have this more macro structure? That's one way you can look at it as well. But both ways, whether you look at it like this or whether you look at it like this, in both capacities, Solana's price has now broken through the descending channel and is in pursuit of the golden zone. And what this means is that Solana is finally starting to make some of the steps, is finally starting to make some of the moves necessary to try to break out. Because if you're a Solana holder, you know it's been a boring year, but this could be finally what Solana needs to actually find that momentum and start continuing trending upwards. And I think all it's really going to take is Solana breaking through 191. 191 is the clear point of resistance right here. It's a blatant level of support back here. It's the clear level of resistance back here. This seems to me to be the decision-making zone. And if Solana can break 191, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if it can just fly through this golden zone and open up a door for a move up towards $400, guys. And I know that sounds crazy, like Tyler, it's not going to $400. It very possibly can if the rest of the crypto market allows, right? Now, you do have to consider that the market cap for Solana at $294 will be different now than it was here due to the supply. But all in all, I still think it's extremely possible that Solana makes that move towards the top side, and it just needs to break through the golden zone. So if you're a Solana holder, what you need to be looking at right now is this golden zone. It ranges between 191 and it ranges between 231, because Solana breaking into and through this is exactly what you need to start seeing some juicy gains. Now, some Solana analysts are saying that there's a cup and handle pattern forming on Solana, and I 100% see what they mean. Okay, so obviously you could see this would be the cup, this would be the handle, and if that is the case, Solana would be preparing for a breakout of that cup and handle, which in theory should be able to trend all the way up here, which would push it up towards $382. Now, I do think there has to be some legitimacy to that, since it is kind of almost perfectly aligning with our Fibonacci extension level. The only problem that I do have with this theory, okay, that this is a cup and handle pattern, is that it takes up over 50% of the retracement. So do you see how we had this move and then it created the cup and handle pattern? What I've come to recognize is that when a crypto's cup and handle pattern takes up over 50% of the total move downwards, is typically much less effective. Usually for a cup and handle, you're going to look for something like this. This is a real cup and handle. This is one of those ones that'll just send you straight to the upside. This one's a little bit big, and so because of that, it is risky. Don't get me wrong, it very well might work, but it is a little bit more risky. And so I'm not really heavily leaning on the idea that this is a cup and handle pattern, but I do believe that this is the clear zone of resistance. And technically speaking, if we broke that, we would be breaking the cup and handle pattern as well. So I get the theory. I think it's okay. I'm not really focused on it too much. I'm more just watching this golden zone extremely closely, because this is going to be a huge battle. I mean, we can already see Solana's price getting a little bit overbought as we are now reaching towards some of these higher levels. So I do think this is going to be extremely difficult for Solana. I think it's going to be hard for it to break this. So if it can break it, I think that door opens wide for that move to the upside. But without further ado, again, let's move on to SWI, but keep a very close eye on Solana on this Fibonacci golden zone. Okay, that's the massive, massive, massive zone to be paying attention to. So when I look at SWI, you can kind of see the story starting to play out itself, okay? It's a very simple story, and this is going to be a repeating pattern. So I know this might get a little bit boring hearing the same thing over and over again, but you do need to see this, okay? So for SWI, the picture is just about as clear as it gets, I would say, right? We had the high. We had another high, we pulled back off of it, created a higher low. So now what has happened? Well, clearly, we of course have seen this descending structure pull SWI's price back. SWI's price then comes back down and builds up some support down here. Funnily enough, that's on the bottom side, Fibonacci golden zone. So for those of you who don't think the golden zone's important, look at that, right? Like we came back down, we built support on the bottom side golden zone and used that to push upwards. And now we've officially broken through this descending structure and we're in the top side golden zone. Now, similar to Solana, you could look at SWI from this perspective. So what you could say is that SWI's price, if we do that, there we go. What you could say is that SWI's price broke out of the descending channel and it came up to where? Well, of course, it came up to the Fibonacci golden zone, as you can see here, which ranges a little bit lower than that, just like that, right? It came up to the Fibonacci golden zone. It got rejected. It came to the bottom side golden zone and is now trying again. So you could look at it that way. But again, I'm personally an advocate that whenever a crypto's price gets rejected this heavily to the downside, I just adjust. I just adjust my descending structure, because oftentimes that structure can start to carry over and you just might as well, right? So what I would be looking at is SWI from this perspective. Like this is the structure that it was in, and this is now officially the breakout over the last couple of days. Now, it is still currently within the Fibonacci golden zone, so SWI is making a little bit more progress than Solana, because Solana's price can't even get up to the golden zone, whereas SWI's price is in the golden zone. So if you're a SWI holder, what you're looking for right now is for SWI's price to finally be able to break back above $4.28. This is the previous level of resistance right here. Guys, this is not a coincidence. I'm not just drawing crazy lines. I mean, it's no coincidence that the exact moment that we pulled back right here was the exact top of the Fibonacci golden zone. You have macro resistance right here. You have Fibonacci resistance right here. So if I'm a SWI holder, I'm looking at $4.28 like a hawk. If SWI's price can break it, I would say it's well within reason that SWI could start pursuing a move all the way up towards, let's go ahead and call it $7.29 for a 272 Fibonacci extension, or $10.80 for a 618 extension. I mean, guys, we're talking about moves that could still be 80%, 170% from here. And again, if you don't think it's possible possible. You just got to go look at history because historically, things like this have happened over and over and over again, especially for SWE. I mean, let me just show you something real quick. Look at what happened the last time the SWE broke a macro golden zone. SWE's price came up. It broke so it had the high, it had the low, it came up, broke through the golden zone, came back down and back tested it and immediately sent it where? To the 1.272 fib extension, and then came this close to getting to the 1.618 fib extension. And people back here were also saying that a move up here wasn't possible until it was possible. And so in a situation like this, yeah, I think it's extremely reasonable to assume SWE could start making that move up to $7 to $10 if and only if it's capable of breaking the golden zone and staying above it. So that's the key level to watch out for. Very similar to Solana as well. I do see the argument for the cup and handle pattern. I do see it, but my argument still rests. This is a bigger cup and handle pattern than Solana. I mean, this makes up freaking like 70-80% of this retracement. I just don't think these are as effective, so I'm not paying attention to it. But all in all, I do get the theory. At the end of the day, we're all saying the same thing in different ways. It is worth paying attention to, but I think the bigger thing to watch out for is this golden zone, and then of course using that to open the door for the move to the upside. Okay, so I'll update you, but right now $4.28 is your moneymaker. That's what you need to be watching because it is going to be a battle as well. Look at how the second we got up towards the top side of this golden zone, your RSI starts to pull back off that overbought reading. Yeah, we might see a pullback. We might see SWE's price kind of trickle downwards. It might come back down for one more try and then give us this move, right? All of these things are possible because we are getting overextended upwards. So we're going to be watching this like a hawk, and I'll update you every step of the way as all of this does play out, okay? Now, moving over to XLM and HBAR, the stories look a little bit different with them, but they are very similar. And guys, before we get into that, don't forget, all of these cryptos we're talking about today, HBAR, XLM, Bitcoin, ETH, SWE, whatever it may be, guys, I talk about it over on Instagram every single day. Tyler Hill YT _. It is linked in the description below. I give you updates on crypto news, XRP, ETH, HBAR, Bitcoin, and everything you can think of. I usually try to post 3 or 4 of these every single day. So make sure you check out that link down below. And if any of this stuff that I'm saying today does confuse you, like it's just complicated, there's only 6 days left until the release of the crypto playbook, which is a manual, a guide for free. And I'm not talking YouTuber free, I'm talking real free, that I'm going to be sending any of you who go sign up to this website down below, and you're going to just be able to use it. It's going to have information and videos, like a 45-minute video on technical analysis, 20-minute video on the RSI, 15-minute video on the golden zone. I mean, so much stuff. It is a free resource for all of you to use, and that's coming out in 6 days. And if you sign up today, what I'll do is I'll send you over a few free modules from the crypto playbook to interest you, if that does interest you. So check out the link down below. And anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead into XLM. So the story for XLM and HBAR is a little bit different than Solana and SWE, but very similar in many capacities. So as you all know, when it comes to XLM, we had this macro descending parallel channel. And of course, I told you all the other day, hey, we broke out of it. We probably are going to try to push towards the golden zone. What do you know? We push up towards the golden zone. Now, as we got to the golden zone, right here, I told you, be extremely careful because it wouldn't shock me if XLM slows down here. We saw the RSI get extremely overbought. We saw something like the Bollinger Bands get extremely overextended. And I said, look, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if XLM slows down right here as it goes to battle, right? This is going to be a battle zone for XLM. You got the bulls pushing it up, you got the bears pushing it down, and they're going to be going back and forth until somebody wins. So I said, look, it's a good time to take a little profit off the table. Don't feel too greedy. Like, go in, take a little profit off the table if you are up pretty good, because you all know we had been buying XLM in this green zone the entire way down. So even on, our like middle purchases, the ones like right here, we're still up 80-90% on XLM. So we took a bunch of profits off the table. And what do you know? XLM's price is slowing down and it is showing some signs of weakening. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that XLM's price can't break through this. But what I just mean is now this is the first crypto from today that you can really get a visual representation of how strong the golden zone is. Because XLM was just sending it. It went straight upwards for like a week straight up until the point it hit this golden zone. And the second it hit this golden zone on this last hard candle, that's the second it started slowing down. Because look, we have XLM's price pushing upwards, but we have that daily RSI trending downwards. You look at that 4-hour RSI, and this bad boy is already starting to pull back towards some of these lower levels, giving you this bearish divergence, which isn't exactly what you would want to see if you are an XLM bull. And so what I would say, if you are an XLM bull right now, it is still a fantastic time to take some profits off the table. It's a great time to pull a little bit of that cash out, and it's a very good time to probably de-risk a little bit. I would say there's about a 40% chance of XLM's price being able to break to the upside, which, listen, it's still a very good chance because we are in a bullish phase. We have been able to see its indicators on the hourlies and the 4-hourlies cool down a little bit. And so, yeah, I do think it's well within reason that XLM's price price could continue to push upwards just solely because of the time of the market that we're in right now. But if I'm being honest, when I look at this from a technical perspective, all of the technicals point, in my opinion, towards the downside, right? You have XLM creating an ascending structure, which is typically not a good structure for XLM to be in. You have a double top forming on the 4-hour. You have a daily RSI showing bearish divergence, and you have a Bollinger Band here on the daily that is still overextended. All of these things will typically lead a crypto's price to pull back to the downside. And for XLM, I could see that being a move back towards, 42 cents or 41 cents. Now, again, it's not guaranteed, and we are in a very euphoric period in the market, a very greedy period in the market, where this thing might just keep taking off and liquidating all of the people who are trying to short it right now. That could very well be on the cards, right? If we go look at XLM's liquidation map, go look at what's happening here, guys. I mean, there are still a lot of people who will get liquidated if XLM's price does push upwards. And so it is very possible XLM does that, but I am just getting more wary that it's going to be harder and harder and harder for XLM to continue to pump while we are in this position, especially at the golden zone. So I'd give it a 60% chance that we do see a bit of a pullback to the downside. I'd see a 40% chance that we do push towards the upside. That's a little bit worse than a coin flip for the bulls. So again, I am personally taking a little bit of profit off the table, locking in those profits, and letting this puppy figure itself out. Now, when it comes to HBAR, it's a very similar situation, okay? Very similar, actually. Very, very, very similar situation in the sense that HBAR's price, what is it doing? Well, of course, it broke out of the descending structure, rallied all the way up to where? Up towards the golden zone. Where did it actually start slowing down? The second it touched the golden zone was when it started slowing down. If you still think the golden zone is a coincidence, you're just being naive at this point, right? And what happened is that HBAR's price has now officially, over the last 36 hours, broken into the golden zone, and it's really starting to struggle now that it's here. And you can see that from this candle that's being created so far. We kind of have that downward hammer, which isn't a great thing, and we are also seeing a little bit of a loss of momentum here on this RSI, which does of course signal that things could be losing momentum in the back end. When you look at the 4-hour, for example, HBAR's price has been setting higher highs. It's pushed into this golden zone, but consistent lower highs, as it has now of course got to the golden zone here on the RSI. And all these things tell me is that there's just a battle happening right now. The bears are stepping in, and they're stepping in hard up here. They're really trying to push HBAR's price back down. They don't want the bulls to clear this channel because they're vastly aware that if HBAR's price breaks through the golden zone, it opens up the door for HBAR to push up towards 55 cents or possibly even 83 cents, which from here is still some beautiful gains. I mean, we're talking 100 to 200% in gains. And so the bears, of course, don't want that to happen. So they're trying to push HBAR's price down, and they're doing a good job, don't get me wrong, and they very well might reject HBAR's price for a little while before the bulls can regather some strength and push through. But I do think a day will come where the bulls do push through this golden zone and go in pursuit of, 39 cents, 40 cents. So right now I am taking a little bit of profit off the table. Not a ton of profit, but a little bit of profit because there definitely is risk of pullback here. But I am leaving still a good bit of my bag open because I think the day will come for HBAR to push up towards, 40 cents, 55 cents, or whatever it may be. So the game plan for me is, look, I'd say the odds are the same. I'd say there's a 40% chance of HBAR being able to make this move upwards, a 60% chance that it does get a move downwards. So as a result of that, I am taking a little bit of profit off the table, but I'm leaving a decent amount of my bag open because I still think there could be some gains on the way, even if it does take a pullback to get us to those gains, okay? And so as you can see, the crypto market's giving us the same exact setups. We're seeing cryptocurrencies that are in descending structures, breaking out of them, chasing down the golden zones. And what this is going to do in the crypto market for all of you altcoin holders is it's going to tell us whether or not the altcoin market is truly preparing for a big altcoin run, or if this is just a little bit of a recovery rally. Because yes, the altcoin market is pumping, and yes, it has felt good and has been fun. Yes, that is the case. But the truth is, this could very well just be a recovery rally. This could be a relief rally. This could just be a temporary drop in the bucket where the altcoin market starts to run a little bit before they all start getting rejected and we all start falling again like we had been. The decisions are being made right now as all of these cryptos approach these golden zones of whether or not we're actually going to see a huge run here for altcoins, or if again it's just a relief rally. So it's extremely important that we watch this closely, and I'll be here with you guys every step of the way updating you as this does play out. And guys, don't forget, again, if you are trading all of these cryptos, your XLMs, your Solanas, your SWEs, you can check out the link to BTCC down below, and you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses. But lastly, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram if you do want extra updates, and go sign up for the crypto playbook, which is coming out in 6 days. You're not going to want to miss it. But all in all, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's update on all of these altcoins, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.